Hi, I'm just in between my calls, so I need to make it quick. But I wanted to make this short video because I'm sure there's somebody who needs to hear this today or tomorrow. I just spoke to a mom following a mommy tantrum training. Mommy tantrum training, that's where I explain and create the aha moment for the parents, making them realize that the fact that you cannot control your emotions with your kids because your kids do something, and even though you want to keep your anger inside, you want to stay calm, you cannot help it, but instinctually you just start yelling. The reason is your childhood trauma. As a reaction, there's often a group of participants in the training who then tell me, well, I had no childhood trauma. What are you talking about? I had a perfect, nice, happy childhood, happy memories, perfectly imperfect parents, stuff happened, but what are you talking about? I had no childhood trauma. So here it is. I just spoke to a mom who told me, Alena, I really don't have a childhood trauma, but please help me connect the dots because I don't understand. I am yelling at my kids. I am worried about, especially in public. I feel like I need to yell at them to also let everybody around me know that I am a good mom, that this is not acceptable, their behavior. So I yell at them. I realize it's not always the best way to get my message across, but this is what I do. So where is the childhood trauma in it? So I asked her, so you tell me, so when we are doing the exercise to start digging in the past, where is that uncontrollable anger coming from? Well, she told me, well, I've been an addict for the last 14 years. So that's where it is coming from. That's why I'm so worried about what people will think about me, because I live in a small town and people will hear. They have heard about it and they're judging me, so I know. That's why I feel I need to be even more strict with my kids. So that's where it's coming from. And I said, and she started long stories about it. I'm like, no, wait, just take a second. It did not start with the addiction. Why did the addiction start in the first place? Yeah, it's because when I was a teenager, I started some recreational drugs and it made me anxious. So then, I was like, okay, let's stop the story. What is it? And I don't know if there's any link between those two. I'm like, yeah, of course, these two are linked. Using recreational drug as a teenager, and that triggering anxiety. And so, of course, it's a link with then your addiction until today. But let's go before that. What made you want to try recreational drugs when you were a teenager? Yeah, because everybody did it. And who didn't smoke and drink? And I'm like, no, not everybody does it. What makes you think it's okay to try? Yeah, because I was part of this group of kids and just everybody tried. I'm like, so here we are. Again, the fear of one side of the coin, fear of being judged. The other side of the coin is you wanted to belong. You wanted to feel part of the group so much. You needed their approval because there was a part of you who did not feel good otherwise, who did not feel good enough the way you were. You didn't feel safe, it was acceptable to say no to them because you would risk losing that group of friends, and that would kill you because you felt like you're not worthy of having better friends who do not take drugs. So again, this is a trauma chain. This is a ripple effect of childhood trauma, which she couldn't see it. So that's why we had to go one link earlier and again, one link earlier. So, okay, we are here. You felt like you couldn't say no to your friends, no to taking drugs, even though probably there was a part of you who knew that was not okay. So what is it that happened in your childhood that made you feel like you need this group of friends, even though they are taking drugs? And she was like, yeah, but my mom, nobody was yelling at me. I had a happy childhood, going back to it. I was like, okay, let's talk about your mom. How about your mom and her friendships? How about your mom and her fear of being judged by other people? And she's like, I can remember exactly the date when my mom said this. Why do the bad things happen to my kids just like they were happening to me? Because let me grab the notes from her. I need to read that for you. She said exactly that. Yeah, mom told me, why are my kids always the vulnerable and not chosen? Because they wanted to be part of some groups and they felt like they were always vulnerable, but they were not the chosen one. They were always the lonely kids. They were always the ones who were left out. So she wanted to be part of the group so much so that she even started taking drugs. So again, it was even not starting with her. It started with her mom, her mom went through the same thing and when she was a kid, and here she goes, now it's happening to her child, and she could not protect her, she couldn't effectively help her manage those emotions because she went through the same thing when she was a kid, her mom. So this is generational developmental baggage. This is what I'm telling her. And so then she had the aha. She was like, I knew parenting techniques are not going to help me with my kids, help me be like calmer, more composed mom who can communicate effectively the boundaries without yelling. I knew I couldn't do that. I didn't know why. But now seeing the link from her mom could not help her, could not make her feel good enough, even without these shitty friends who are taking drugs, because her mom felt like, vulnerable, lonely. We need to do everything we can to be part of the group, not to be judged, to be liked, and to be not even popular, but even feel like we belong. So of course her mom couldn't help her with it. So I said, well, do you realize your kids are now in a very vulnerable position themselves because of this trauma? Because things might happen to them which will be similar in a way. And she was like, exactly, I know, that's what I'm paranoid about. I know that they might be vulnerable to taking drugs, getting into wrong relationships and wrong groups, and I'm just paranoid and I'm preaching and I'm checking with them all the time and always trying to help them when they are sad. I'm like, but this is still your trauma reaction, right? We need to heal you first so that it's not your trauma talking to your kids. Because unless you do, unless you heal, not only you will not be able to finish your addictions, not only you will still feel like afraid of being judged by other people, but you will not be effectively able to support your kids. You will not be able to raise strong, resilient human beings who are not afraid to say no for the fear of being left out. Because this is what a strong, healthy kid feels. I will rather be the one who's out, who's by myself, not lonely, not vulnerable, but by myself, because that's better than getting down the slippery slope of any kind of addiction. These people are not the right crowd for me. I would rather be on my own than hanging out with them. That's the kind of kid you want to raise, right? So in order to be able to do that, please start healing yourself. So if this was helpful for somebody, my time was well spent. I hope it was. Let me know, DM me. I know that it's not like always safe to comment publicly on social media. Send me a DM. Reach out if you need help. This is where even the was never an addict, so I don't know what these addiction programs are doing with you. I can only imagine they are going I would hope they are going all the way back to your childhood dealing with this stuff, because unless you do, no matter what kind of addiction you have, even if it's like emotional eating, shopping, whatever addictions you have, you will not be able to finish. You will not be able to stop unless you heal the reason why you allowed yourself to slip down that slope and not get up again. Yeah? Please heal. I'm here to help if you need. Take care.